G'day everybody, my name's Matt and this is Success by Process. Now in this video, I'm going to tell you about how I sold my little Honda Grom motorbike for a 20% return on investment. Now this is something that you'd normally write off as a liability, something that you'd lose money on, a motorbike or a car. I sold it for a profit after using it for 2 years and made 20% return on investment. I'm going to give you every exact step I used to do this. This is from our Success by Process course Foundations, and I'm going to run you through the whole process. If you enjoy this content today, please gently press the like button just below the video. It really helps with reach on YouTube. And subscribe to the channel for more future content. I bought the 2016 Honda Grom in question. I bought it about 2 years ago in 2019 for $2,750. My cousin Nick bought the exact same bike from the people who sold me my bike, and our plan was to ride them all around the place, zip around like hooligans, and have just a general great time. I used this bike quite a lot within that 2-year period. I put 3,000 kilometers on it, which is a fair bit for a little Honda Grom. It's only a very small little bike, and I'd use it to commute to and from my sales jobs all around the city of Melbourne. It was fantastic for getting through traffic. Any of the bigger sports bikes or super bikes that were around the place, I'd be able to strip them when it came to slipping through traffic and getting from A to B, just because of how nimble the Honda Grom was, and I had an absolute ball on it. I was doing wheelies all over the place, stoppies, I was jumping over speed bumps. It was bloody great fun. 6 months ago, myself and my wife Marianne, we moved out to Warburton, which is an hour away from the city. Now Warburton's got much bigger distances that you've got to travel around when you are on a motorbike or a car. So the Honda Grom didn't make as much sense. I was still riding it, but nowhere near as much as I was when I was down in the city. So I came to the conclusion that it was a good time to sell it and maybe use that money to invest or to get myself something else more exciting. This is when step one of the sales process began. This was research and information gathering. I went all over the internet looking at the different Honda Groms that were for sale on the different websites that were available. I researched the price, the kilometers, I researched how long they'd been up there and the demand for those vehicles. After I found out what I was up against, I went out and I washed the bike to make it beautiful, to present it really well. I took some really lovely photos and I made a really simple ad to try and get as many qualified prospects as I possibly could to look at that ad and to hopefully contact me. The second day the ad was up, I got my first genuine inquiry about the bike. Up until then, I'd gotten multiple spam bots and spam text messages trying to get my bank details and trying to contact me via email outside of the messaging service, which is in the apps that I use to sell the bike. So I started the discussion process with this potential prospect. The first thing I did in this discussion process was I qualified the lead. I talked to them and I asked them basic question lines that would give me information on 3 relevant things. I wanted to know how likely they were to turn up to the appointment to see the bike. I wanted to know how much they wanted the bike, because that would then give me basically a ballpark figure of what they'd be willing to spend on the bike. With private sales, you don't really want to waste your time with lowball buyers or tire kickers. So it's really important to do this qualifying process during the first interaction, whether that's over the phone, whether that's over a messenger service, or whether that's over email. You want to qualify the leads and make sure you're just getting quality buyers, people who are coming along with genuine interest to buy it, not just to test ride it. So you do this by asking the right questions. Now I could tell by this process that she wanted the bike. She had quite a bit of desperation to come and see the bike quite soon, and she was more than willing to give me a deposit before she'd even seen the bike. These are all really good signs, and I could tell that she was going to pay probably my asking price for the bike and that she was going to turn up to the appointment. I was quite blunt and I said, please let me know if you're not going to turn up. Send me a message as you're leaving your house, because you probably know that a lot of people don't turn up to these private sales. And she had quite a good conversation with me. It built the trust between us, and I knew she was going to turn up. So that was the first thing I did. I qualified my prospect. Now in the description of this video, there's a link to our website, and that's where you can check out Foundations to really take a deep dive on the sales process. This is a really good way to get return on investment on things that would normally be a liability for you. So it could be that you're selling your own car, it could be that you're selling a house, or just random things around your house. It's a really good skill to know for so many facets of life, so check it out. The first step in the sales process is the introduction. Now, in the introduction, all I wanted to do was make a good impression. I wanted to introduce myself and I wanted to introduce the bike and start to build some rapport. Step 2 was setting the frame. Now, this is where I start to dig further into the details, into their needs, the reason they're wanting to buy the bike. I make sure I keep building rapport and I set myself out as an authority. I made myself an authority on motorbikes in general, but also on this particular bike by displaying my knowledge of the bike and also how long I'd been riding bikes and my different adventures that I'd had over the past. It made me come across as somebody who knew what they were talking about. Now, the presentation was the easy bit. That was just about where I talked all about the different features and the benefits of those features for the bike. I told a bit of a story about how I'd used the bike in the past and the different places I'd taken it and the really cool rides I'd been on and how this would benefit her, how she'd be able to emulate and do that same thing with the bike and have an absolute blast on it. I was starting to build that excitement up for her and her ownership of the bike. I was asking her questions what she was going to do when she took the bike away, where she planned to take it. So I was planting seeds of actual ownership in her brain. When I could see she understood absolutely everything about the bike, she knew that there was a little scuff on the exhaust pipe, one of the limitations of the bike from when I'd parked it next to a pole at my old basement car park in the city. She was happy with absolutely everything and she was ecstatic about the thought of taking that bike home and riding it. That is when I phase shifted into the close. My close, it was super simple. All I asked was, do you want to go for it? And she said, yep, let's do it. That was it. That was the whole presentation. That was the whole phase shift into the close. And that was her signing on the dotted line. The final step of this sales process, usually where I'd be looking to upsell, or the other alternative, which is what I did on this day, was aftercare. So I made sure I kept building even more rapport. I kept building more needs and usage options and making sure that she was super comfortable and super happy and that she knew she was going to have a really good time. Now, this was done after the close. She'd already said she wanted it, but I made sure to keep building that excitement, keep building the rapport, keep building the value so that she would be more than happy when she took that bike home. Now, that 5-step process, introduction, setting the frame, presentation, close, and upsell or aftercare is what we use all the time in any sales situation. If you want to see a further deep dive into each of these steps and the intricacies that you can bring into it to bring them to the next level, again, check out Foundations in the description. If you found this useful, please obliterate the like button to let me know that you've enjoyed the content. Subscribe to the channel because we do put up new content all the time. And you can also get a bunch of free resources on our website. We've got a free Boost Your Business course. If you're part of an organization that has more than one person, I suggest you go and check that out because it's totally free. You can find it in the menu on the website and it'll really boost team morale within your organization. It'll boost results. It'll boost customer happiness and satisfaction. It's worth a look. It's free. The whole point of this video is to highlight that understanding a bit of salesmanship will allow you to sell whatever you want to sell for the highest value possible. In this situation, I managed to get a 20% return on investment. I sold the bike for $3,400 that I'd bought for $2,750 2 years earlier, put 3,000 kilometers on the bike, all through my understanding of how to formulate and go through a sales process. Some people don't enjoy the idea of the word sales, but the reality is sales is just communication. It's being able to communicate value and benefit to somebody. Now that's something that you use in so many facets of life, whether it's getting a pay rise at work, negotiating breakfast with your partner, where you want to go and have breakfast together, negotiating selling old motorbikes and push bikes, or if you do work in customer facing roles at work, obviously being able to even sell your coffee or the beers that you sling behind a bar and upsell them to a cocktail, that's going to be a massive benefit to your company and you're likely going to be looked favorably and also pass on better value to the customer. Check out Foundations and remember, qualify your prospects, introduction, set the frame, presentation, close and upsell an aftercare. That's all you've got to do. I hope you've really enjoyed this video. If you have, maybe consider watching this video down here as well. And it'd be really great if you'd subscribe, which you can do with this bit here. Now, I will see you in the next one and have a really good day. See you later. See ya, Grom.